It's your boy Baloo Beats coming at you with another episode of Between the Buns podcast. I'm joined by my co-host, my brother, my friend. State your name.
What's happening, everybody? It's your boy Carlton, aka Mr. Hype Beast Burger, back at it again, ready to get it on. What's happening with you, Baloo?
You know what it is, man. We're here to see another day in the crazy Central Florida living. I'm happy to be here. Happy to say that I didn't sustain too much damage. Not too bad on this side. How about yourself?
Man, same, bro. You know I'm from Alabama, man. So us country folk, we don't play with Mother Nature. So as soon as I get that red alert, I got up out of there. Hurricane Milton was coming directly for the Tampa Bay area, which is where I reside. So, man, I always felt safe when I lived in the Orlando area. So that's where I took me and my family. We only sustained a little bit of damage. I don't have a fence in my backyard anymore. So that's one minor mishaps. But, man, I'm blessed to be alive, man. Blessed to see another day. And happy to be here with you, man.
Absolutely. Something about growing up in Florida. You know, I just turned 36. And I can say I've only experienced about 3-4 hurricane seasons in my entire lifetime growing up here.
Wow.
I can only remember one back in 2004, 2005 when we got hit with 4 back-to-back. If you're in Orlando, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But we missed 2 weeks of school, and we had to make it up with free lunch. But we lost our short days on Wednesday. That was my first hurricane experience.
Y'all had short days on Wednesdays?
Yeah, so typically schools out here have short days on Wednesday. So every day school starts the same time, but on Wednesdays we got out an hour earlier. And so since we missed 2 weeks of school, we came back. They gave us free lunch for a couple of weeks, but coming into the new year, we had every day be a regular day. So we didn't get out early anymore to make up the time.
Hey, I got to ask you, off subject, what's the most nostalgic school lunch experience you can remember? I know what mine is, and it's not a burger, believe it or not, but I want to hear yours. And then
that I enjoyed, or just in general?
Just your like the day you look forward to the most in school lunch. I'm sure there could be a little bit of rollover into other states. You know, I grew up in Bama, but you know, I feel like a lot of schools had that notorious either breakfast pizza or just those standard rectangle pizza slices.
Yeah.
Right. So that's one of those core memories for me for school lunches, but that's not my favorite. Wednesdays are my favorite when I go into it after you chime in.
I would have to say, well, elementary school, because that was the most natural school lunch I got from middle school and high school, and I'll get into more context in that later. But elementary school, I would say the days I looked forward to the most was when we had those French bread pizzas. Not those square ones that they just put on there with some flimsy dough and cheese and sauce and all sausages. There were days we got French bread pizza with that hard crust and the cheese came over the top.
Yeah.
I knew when I saw that it was going to be a great day, because I actually wasn't a fan of those rectangular pizzas.
Yeah, they weren't the best, man. I prefer a crispier crust. I love the thin concept, but yeah, it just didn't meet the crisp requirements that I like. But for me, man, it was Wednesdays and it was chicken finger day. Chicken finger day used to go off, man, because it just seemed like there was a surplus of food on Wednesdays, man. There would be rice and gravy, chicken fingers. It came wrapped with 3 chicken tenders and some plastic or styrofoam or not styrofoam, wax paper. That's what I'm trying to say. And what would it be, man? We would get those yeast rolls buttered up. Then there would be a dessert item, whatever the case was. But I don't know, man. It was something about Wednesdays, man. It just used to set off the day, man. I knew I was going to have a great day of practice, fourth block. So, yeah, man, chicken finger day was my day, man. Those pizzas, I think they're just nostalgic. I thought you were going to say that, man, because I feel like every middle school, high school, elementary school had those same squares. They were getting it from the same manufacturers, something.
Yeah,
they had school systems in a chokehold, and they probably still do.
Yeah. I know in elementary school, Wednesdays where I feel like the school found a way to kind of maybe cheat the system or do something a little different, because we had bag lunch Wednesdays. And what they would do was do like a burger bun with like a turkey, cheese, and mayonnaise, or like a bologna or ham and cheese sandwich on Wednesdays. So I felt like, okay, Wednesdays we did like a bagged lunch when we got our school lunch. And then all the other days was like, hey, this is what the cafeteria is cooking up in those
It's actually
electric
cooking up.
ovens. Yeah. And the reason why I mentioned elementary school, because for me in middle school and high school, we leveled up what we got to eat in the cafeteria. I remember coming to lunch in middle school and seeing Papa John's pizza, 6-inch Subway sandwiches, Gatorades, and then eventually Chick-fil-A. And I'm sitting here thinking, hey,
Wow.
this is what we got in middle school. And then in high school, my older sister would tell me about what they had. They used to have smoothies, a salad bar, Popeyes, fried chicken, pizzas. And yeah, bro. And then when I got there, it's like every year they would get cheaper and cheaper because we went from having Papa John's to the typical like round.
Tostitos.
Yeah, yeah. And like then those frozen chicken patties, then
Oh,
those then like those things like that. And I remember just being so disappointed afterwards, hearing what was there and seeing what we had to what we had by the time I graduated.
I had some really good times in high school, but like the school lunches were definitely not the staple in my experience. But I just wanted to know your one of those nostalgic meals that you used to have, man. But back to it, man.
I know you lived in Alabama, but when you were in Pensacola, did you ever encounter any type of storm in any way, shape, or format? Because you're
Yeah,
right out
but
there by the beach
not to
too.
that capacity, man. So like
Yeah.
Pensacola, the times I was there, so I was there, moved there originally in 2016, stayed there for only a year, and then moved to the Orlando area, right? So didn't experience anything that 1 year that I was there in 2016. Then post COVID, or I should say, as COVID was ramping up, we moved back, and that was when I celebrated the birth of my first daughter in 2020. So we moved back up, and in that time period, we may have gotten some bands of whatever storms that hit, but I was there for 2 more years, and yeah, nothing crazy, man. Like I remember in 2017, what was it? Hurricane Ivan maybe hit the Tampa Bay area, or a little more south, but it
Yeah, I
definitely
remember
pushed
that.
its way through Tampa, and then it eventually hit Orlando. And I remember like it just seemed like it was a little more panic with some people, but a lot of Floridians, it's nothing new to them. So they were like, "Oh, we're just gonna bunker down. We got our generators, we got our candles, we got our everything was already prepared." I was not prepped for any type of natural disaster. So again, I fled then, but I went all the way up to Alabama. My worst experience with that moment coming back because a lot of Southern Floridians
Evacuate. They
evacuated.
typically evacuate in the storm.
So coming back, which would have taken me, let's say, 7 hours max, it took me about 15 hours to drive from the Birmingham, Alabama area back to Orlando, man. And that was
All that
at
traffic.
that point, I was like, okay, I need to get some plywood, some hurricane shutters. I'm not taking my ass nowhere that far anytime soon, like with any kind of hurricanes. Like now, and going back to it, man. And I got a buddy who just transferred here from the Air Force, and he was like, "Man, I don't know what to expect, man. I'm oblivious to this." And I was like, "Look, let me school you on it." I was like, "We don't have to leave with Hurricane Helene or whatever the name was,
Yeah,
but this
the
one,
one before.
this one was coming directly at us." And I was like, I don't think we need to go all the way back to Bama, but I would advise that we go a little more inland. So we chose the Kissimmee area, which ironically enough, man, we obviously we didn't link up, but you ended up being in Kissimmee and I was in
Mm-hmm.
Kissimmee with my
Yeah.
family, man. We got a dope Airbnb, man. They turned the entire garage into a playroom. So had a bounce house, had the basketball hoop, had the cornhole tables, had darts,
There's a
had
lot of
a
houses like that
PlayStation.
in that area too. Like perfect
Yeah,
for just either celebrating something, either weekend or hurricane evacuation. And I saw that setup y'all had, which is perfect because I'm thinking, dang, next time we have a hurricane, I may just get my friends and do the same thing with our kids, man, because that's perfect to keep
yeah.
them occupied, especially if power goes.
Man, that was another cool thing that I kind of wanted to talk about, man. I felt like, two of my biggest passions, for those of you who don't know, I'm real big on food, obviously burgers. I love sports also, but another, I think nobody knows this about me. I love survival shows. So all things
Oh,
survival.
really?
I've never really been camping, but I love the concept of like just having to roll up your sleeves and just catch and cook, that type of stuff. So I watch a lot of that content in my spare time, right? So uh, I felt like we were off the grid because, as you know, the area of Kissimmee I was in, not a lot of
Nothing.
things going on, man. The closest
Nothing.
grocery store was a good 15, 20 minutes. And with the traffic of everybody just panicking, it was a little further actually. So, man, luckily I just thought to bring my little camping grill and I brought it. Power went out and I realized at that Airbnb they only had an electric grill. So good thing I
What?
did bring it. Yeah, man. Who does that? Who does that? I don't
What?
know. Yeah, man. So
Them-
luckily I brought that, man. That really saved the day, man. So I literally camped out on the pool deck, had a can of baked beans on top of the grill, man. They cooked right in the can, grilled up some hot dogs, took one of the skillets and grilled up some sausage and scrambled some eggs for breakfast, did the hot dogs and baked beans and stuff like that for lunch, man. And then we got power back. So then we were good. We were back in action, man. Me and my boy, we had plenty of booze. I was sipping on Uncle Nearest. Shout out to Uncle Nearest. For those of you who don't know, that's the original
Yeah.
Daniels.
Yeah. Yeah.
So sipping on that, man. Had a few beers by the pool, man, until it got a little too crazy. But it was a good time, man. All in all, it just felt like a little get away from home, man. So as stressful as it was, man, I was definitely fortunate to have a cool experience out of it.
Now you were able to enjoy something that I had to end up tossing out, but you kind of gave me some feedback on it. I had a bunch of beer and booze in my fridge, and I'm talking beer and wine and all that good stuff. And I've always was told that when beer goes cold, then gets warm, it's not best to chill it again because it just loses all the best stuff of it and it can make you sick. So I we opened the fridge enough to clear out what we needed, but I'm
Right.
looking at all those damn highlights that I had and some other beers and other cocktails I had, and my wife is looking at me like, "Are you going to keep it?" And I'm like, "As much as I want to, I don't want to risk getting sick. I just don't want to." And I remember telling you that, and you said, "Ain't nothing wrong with green beer." So can you elaborate for the people what green beer is? Because that was a term I've never heard in my entire life.
Sometimes you got to risk it for the biscuit, my boy. So green beer, I have no clue where the term comes from. I grew up under the impression that when beer goes from cold to hot to cold, I guess it develops maybe mold or bacteria, and it essentially just turns green. All right, maybe not realistically green, but that's the concept. Or maybe it'll make you green because you'll get sick. But man, I grew up in the country, man, so we weren't throwing beer away like that, man. Especially when you were some young little punks just sneaking and drinking. You know what I mean? So like, if we had a little stash of beer and something happened to it, it got hidden in somebody's duffel bag until the following weekend. We put them things back on ice. We drank them. That probably contributed to our hangovers. I don't really know, man. My system was built a little more sturdy than it is now. You know what I mean? Now I eat certain fast food, man. I'm out of commission for a couple of days, but no, man. The green beer, man. I'm not really sure what exactly it means, but I respect what you thought. My biggest gripe about what you disposed of, because I wish you would have just said, "Hey, bro, let me slide this bottle your way," was that moonshine. Because that moonshine
Oh
is
man,
lightning, man. That that'll withstand the test of time, my brother. Like you should
you
have
you
kept
know,
on to that.
you know what, man? The thing with the moonshine is I just put it all in that same category of alcohol. Like I thought about it long and hard too because I knew that was a different strain compared to everything else. But I also told myself my plug for moonshine isn't far.
How you said my plug and you didn't name drop. Very you you media trained, my boy. You media trained.
I
Yeah,
mean, I had enough street smarts taught to me.
yeah. I feel you. I feel you.
So I'm just saying, man, I gotta connect, and when that connect is provided, it's like, hey, cool. And it's not hard and it's not far. So it's just saying, hey, pause. So I just gotta say, hey, throw let me get some of that.
Hey,
And
well, See if you can get him to cook up a batch, or him or her, whatever the
Mhm.
plug is.
Yeah.
Cook up a batch, man. I'll be in the December, mid-December. So
I typically see around holiday time, so I'll definitely reach out and see about that.
bet, appreciate it, man. I drank White Lightning, and you know these are like bootlegger distillers, right? So I'm looking in the mason jar and I see like just specks of stuff, and I'm like, and they're like, Carlton, don't worry about it, man. This liquor is gonna kill anything that you see floating in it. And I was like, all right, when in Rome, let's do it. So
Mhm.
I turned it up, man. That thing lit my chest on fire. But man, it's good stuff, man. It brings me back
Oh
to my
yeah,
roots, man. I haven't had it in years, though, over a decade.
oh yeah. I haven't had that in a while either. But I remember having to drive one way. I remember having some and having to drive somewhere to somewhere else, and I was nervous because the further I got, I was like, oh man, this may not have been the best decision.
Yeah,
But I made it to my destination.
it hit different, that's for sure.
Oh
Hey
yeah, oh
man,
yeah.
speaking of things that hit different, the notorious franchise that I've loved for so many years,
And
they've
hated
been
as of recent.
constantly disappointing me as of late. There's no secret. McDonald's has been letting me down. Shrinkflation is definitely a thing. I'm not here for it. But let's talk about this chicken mac. You know, if it wasn't for the hurricane, man, I had all the ideas to try to bring all this time of year, man. A lot of fast food places are doing a lot of innovative
Yeah,
things with the
let's touch up
season.
on that real quick. Let's touch up
Yeah.
on that because I feel like the three big franchises right now
Hmm.
are doing something, but one is not even being talked about. Another one is disappointing, and this one has been the biggest talk of the town. And the one that's not being talked about is the Burger King Adams Family Whopper. The biggest disappointment has been the Wendy's Krabby Patty meal, which I was already skeptical about when I saw it because I looked at that and said, hold up.
It's
And
just a
then we got the
thought.
chicken Big Mac.
Yeah.
Exactly. Then there's the
Yeah.
chicken Big Mac, which a lot of people were doing. Do want to shout out the homie Sweet Melissa, who went on live with two other Florida influencers. She did a connect with
Okay.
a Jacksonville influencer and a South Florida influencer. Went to McDonald's and announced it before the actual
Oh,
day
that's
came out.
dope. That's
So
cool.
they did a little
Shout out
collab
to
on
Melissa,
live.
man.
So yeah,
She's
she's
been
been
going
doing her
ham
thing.
lately.
So I found out about that, but I knew the wave of this was gonna be a craze.
Well, you
And
know, this made a debut in 2022 in select markets.
I didn't know that.
So I think it was tested in the South Florida area, and you know how they do, man. They probably did it in LA or something like that, just a
Yeah.
really major market. Um, and it had a little buzz, a little bubble, a little sizzle. But yeah, man, I'm glad to see it back for a limited time, man. By the time you guys see this, your opportunity to have had it is probably
Maybe
long
gone.
gone.
Yep.
But
Unfortunately.
man, one thing I can say, man, and I told you I was gonna wait to give you my feedback. So I just had it about
Mhm.
an hour and a half ago. It's better than the OG Big Mac, man. And I'm a beef connoisseur. You know this.
So
The
what would make it better? Is it like tell me elaborate for me.
So for me, it's the texture. I think what's going to be surprising for those of you that have tried it, you're going to know. But those of you who didn't get the opportunity to try it, hopefully it'll make an appearance once again in the future. But it's actually the texture of a chicken nugget. So it's almost like, you know how the chicken nugget is almost like a wet battered fry,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
So way different from all of their standard chicken sandwiches. But that complemented the special sauce, the pickles, and I am disappointed. Once again, McDonald's failed me again. I didn't get not one onion on my sandwich, man. So I was a little
I thought
disappointed
you weren't
about
supposed to
that.
get an onion on the Big Mac.
Pickles, onions on the sesame
I thought
seed
it,
bun.
I thought it
Yeah,
was
man.
lettuce sauce. It was onions on
Pickles.
there
You don't remember the OG
and
song
pickles.
from the two all beef patty special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, onions on the sesame seed bun.
I
Yeah,
remember
man.
the onion part.
Yeah, it's supposed to have onions, man. And They duped me. I didn't get my onions. So slightly disappointed. Maybe that would have taken away, or maybe it would have get like added to the experience. But for me, man, again, I'm standing firm on my take on it. I think it's far more superior. And I think a large part of that, obviously the chicken just complements those type of ingredients pretty well, right? Because that looks like your traditional chicken sandwich, like if somebody's elevating the game when it comes to bringing chicken sammies out. But it's a thicker patty. Those
Okay.
those McDonald's beef patties they've been on a diet lately,
Unless you get
So
the quarter pounder, which is what
that's the
usually
only way.
that's the
That's
only
the
way to
only
really
way.
get it to my standard. Now, something I did back in the day, especially in high school, was whenever I wanted to do like a chicken Big Mac, I would just get a couple McChickens and get the Big Mac sauce and just make a little bootleg version of it because I
I
always
like
thought,
that.
hey, this would be pretty dope if they did it. And the like you pointed out, it's like a giant chicken nugget versus the actual seasoned looking chicken patty that they use for the McChicken.
Mm,
So that was something that I wanted to because I want to try it, and of course I want to do it on a video, and I want to show them and for so people see the difference because that's what I was going to do with that Wendy's one too. I was going to
yeah.
say, hey, here's a Dave single, here's the Krabby Patty. What's the difference? But I already knew deep down, I was like, it's probably just the sauce. But
Sauce is
the frost,
1000% what I could take on it. Like to me, the most exciting thing about that, and I literally saved the date of the Krabby Patty from Wendy's.
mhm.
Unfortunately, Hurricane Milton decided to roll in around that time period when I
Yeah,
was evacuating, right? So didn't get to try it, but the only thing that seemed exciting to me about that was the pineapple frosty.
yeah, and that was the
That
one big standout from the whole meal.
yeah, yeah. And from
And,
what I've gathered from other creators, food creators, the Krabby Patty special sauce or secret sauce is their whole little mock up of the Big Mac sauce. So nothing new
mm,
to see here.
that's very tacky and very cheap. And
Very
something
deep.
you pointed out something really noteworthy because you said that Hurricane Milton came in on the date you wanted to go and check it out. And for me, I'm near literally those three restaurants I mentioned. And the day after the hurricane, they were open and lines were just out in the street because a lot of people didn't have power, so they're grabbing a bunch of food for their kids. Like lines were like landlocked, so I couldn't even try at that time. So when you asked if I had it yet, and I was like, no. So I'm really thinking of maybe trying it this weekend to get my hands on it and bring some back. I know the kids will like McDonald's, but I'm like, I gotta get this. I gotta try this for myself. While this algorithm's going for it, and
Yeah,
then
man. And I thought about it. I took a couple of little quick clips. So I'll probably post something here pretty soon. It's been a minute. I think the
yeah,
last time I posted has been a month, man. I've been life, man. But I was gonna take this time, man. I want to know like maybe the people's take on this as well as yours, man. I want to know like what's one of those like menu items from a fast food chain, or maybe not even fast food, just a chain in general.
just so y'all know,
Uh,
everybody, we're going into our toss it on, toss it off segment.
what's one of those items that you wish they would bring back or would make a resurfacing to the game? Uh, like I think of things like the Mexi Melt from Taco Bell. I
Oh,
think of
like any
things like
chain?
like Taco Bell just brought back the double decker as well, but they're bringing back my favorite item of fast food history, and I think it's coming out in December. Hopefully, it goes nationwide. I've heard that it was already launched in the California markets, and I was just in Cali not too long ago, and I was like checking out like every Taco Bell I passed by. I was like, oh no, I don't see. But the caramel apple empanada, they took
Oh,
it away
really?
from us, and I'm so disappointed in you, Taco Bell. If you catch whiff of this, disappointed in you, Taco Bell, because you took
Shout out
away the
Taco Bell.
best dessert that you could have ever distributed and blessed our taste buds with. You took it away from us, man. And
If you're listening to this, if anybody's listening to this, tag Taco Bell so they know.
let them know, man. You you're making me sad over here. I got the shades
Send,
on, but my eyes are watering a little bit.
Those lens started to fog up a bit.
Yeah, man.
But you know what, bro? Something that used to be my jam back in the day. But McDonald's had those snack wraps, those chicken snack wraps. And those things were at the time maybe under $2, maybe $1.50 after some taxes. And they had the honey mustard, they had the ranch, and then they even did a Big Mac snack wrap just to throw in a little beef version of it, man. And that was my stuff if I wanted to splurge
Oh
off
yeah,
the dollar menu because there was a dollar menu back then. Before now, they call it the value menu. That was something that
those were the good
I
old
would
days.
I would tear about 2 or 3 of those up before going to work because it would hit the spot. And then if
No
you want to
doubt.
just save on the calories, you just got it without sauce and got them grilled. So you had the alternatives. So that's something that I'm looking like McDonald's. If you brought this back, I wouldn't be mad at you.
I got a confession. Never had a snack wrap.
I noticed. I realized I had a feeling you didn't because when I was talking to you, I saw your head. So like, what? I never seen that. But it was
But
they literally
I
in the
know
Big
I'm
Mac
familiar.
version.
I think BK capitalized on the people's demand and the people's request for the snack wrap to come back, and they brought their own rendition of a snack wrap. Never tried it either, but I got news for you. I'm almost. Let me say I'm 75% certain that the snack wrap is making a comeback.
I've heard rumblings.
You, so
I've heard the word out there.
I think it's coming back, man. I may have to try it for the first time, man. Especially if they bring a Big Mac snack wrap. I'm definitely gonna
Oh
try
yeah.
it for sure.
Oh yeah. That's
But I think I
definitely
gotta go with
be
the
an
OG.
alternative.
I'm a big fan of honey mustard. So when you said honey mustard, I'm like, okay, I can get down
Yeah,
with that.
that was my go-to. Now I will confess this. I've never had the McRib.
I have.
Dead serious. I've never had it. And I see when it comes back, nothing entices me to get it. I'm just
Because like, come
that's
on,
not
man. It looks like mystery meat.
I
Like,
know. And I know. And
yeah.
I understand why people like it because of sauce and they got the pickles, the onions, like it's like a good barbecue rib sandwich without the bones, of course. But
But
I'm
it's
just
not
like
though, Trev. It's not,
I'm just saying
man.
like I'm sorry, I didn't put my air quotes up.
It's the nostalgia of it, man, because it goes away and disappears and goes into hibernation for a little while and it comes back. So people are all like, "Oh, it's back." It's trash, man. It's not a good sandwich. It's not a good sandwich. Like, don't let the people in the internet fool you. Social media creators, stop playing games with the public and the general public and convincing them that foods that are you just overhyping, man. You over whooping, man. Don't be whooping like that, man.
Yeah.
Keep it a buck with everybody, man. That McRib ain't it. It's not, bro.
Yeah,
Save your
I'm
money.
just saying, man. I see people rave about it, and some people regret it once they get it. But I've just never. Like, I saw the excitement for it. If I want a rib sandwich, I go to the rib the barbecue plug and get me a good rib
For sure.
sandwich.
I just pulled this up. So one of my go-to fast food spots actually has a new resurfacing of a burger, and we didn't even mention it. And this is probably like my number one fast food burger place, Culver's.
Yeah, yeah.
They brought back the curd burger.
Oh, they did. Oh wait, I did
Yeah,
have that.
man.
I thought
So
that
they
was
got
on the
the
menu though.
big cheese curd on there, man.
Yeah,
So
yeah. I
love
had that.
that.
That's good. That's good. I like it.
I did some content on that the last time it came around a few years ago. Content was trash just because it's not a visually aesthetic burger. So I've
No, it
never
isn't.
posted it. Um, yeah, so but it was fire, but it just doesn't look pretty. You know what I mean? Because you got this big hockey puck of a cheese stick essentially plopped on top of buns and cheese and patties. You know what I mean? So
But you know, but what you're not telling the people is that you a little local celebrity at one of these Central Florida Culvers with your face grinning on there,
hey, so
looking like a franchise owner.
I think that's Castleberry, man. That's the
Oh,
Castleberry location. They got me featured. So for those of you who don't know, I work in sports nutrition by day, right? So one of the old managers at the vitamin shop in Altamont Springs, he's no longer the manager there, but he was my boy, man. And he's been following me for some years on Hypebeast Burger page. And him and his family They went to that location, man, and they saw it. And anyway, he was like, "Man, bro, you're on like the TV screen in there." I was like, "Wait, what?" And I was like, "Man, next time you go in there, send me a picture, man." So he sent me a picture. I posted it on my stories, man. That was pretty cool. I didn't even know.
Yeah, local celebrity up here, man. But listen, bro, we're about to wrap up this episode. You got any final thoughts, final messages you want to say to close this out?
Man, look, man, I appreciate y'all rocking with us, man. Y'all let us know, man. Once we start dropping this, man, I want y'all to keep your ear to the streets, keep your ears to the Hype Beast Burger and the Baloo Eats pages. You know, chime in with us. Let us know what kind of content you want to see, what kind of topics you want to talk about. And also, we looking for y'all, man. We want to also utilize this platform as an opportunity to share the stage, man. There's a lot of y'all out there that, you know, Travis and I, we connect with, man, and we talk to y'all pretty frequently. So we want to give y'all the opportunity to pop y'all shit, sit with us, maybe have a bev. Today, my bev of choice is this Voodoo Ranger Tropical Force. I felt like going tropical, all things considering, with Mother Nature and these tropical storms that's hitting Florida right now. So
it's fitting. That's fitting.
9.5. Yeah, man, it's an IPA, Trav. You would love it.
Thanks, appreciate it. If for those listening in, I'm smiling in the most sinister way.
9.5, you can't beat that, man.
No, you can't with those IPAs, man. I'm good. But all right, y'all. That's my boy Carlton Hypebeast Burger with his words, and this is Baloo Weeks. Thank y'all for chiming in on episode 4. Stay tuned for the next. Y'all know my slogan. I'm digging in. Make sure you follow us on YouTube, Instagram, everywhere you listen to your podcast. Later.
Peace.